Welcome to the series finale for my Madden 23 relocation rebuild with the Oklahoma City Bison. The way I'm going to handle this is by simulating the rest of this season, then we will do the entire offseason, and then we will simulate all of Season 5 to see if we can end this series with a Super Bowl or not. Quarterback Keyshawn Gaither this season finished with 4,700 yards, 24 touchdowns, and 10 interceptions. He got a lot better from his rookie season. Antonio Gibson, for the first time as a member of the Bison, did not run for 1,000 yards. He only got 937 and finished with 8 total touchdowns. But our two rookie receivers, Cooper Parker and Matthew Lamb, both had pretty solid seasons, both getting over 1,100 yards. Cooper Parker had 9 touchdowns, Matthew Lamb had 5, and Deshaun Slaughter finished with under 1,000 yards, just barely, and 3 touchdowns. George Carson only caught 2 touchdowns this year, Quez Watkins caught 2, Coco Johnson caught 1, Ian Thomas caught 1, and Drew Sample caught 1. Outside linebacker Daryl Nix led the team in tackles with 133. In sacks, Kevin Donald got 23, which might be good enough to lead the league. We will check that in a minute. But the most interceptions goes to Isaiah Rodgers with 5. Felix McGee came away with 4, Amir Brinkley got 3, Rocky Sin got 3, Daryl Nix got 2, and then Thomas Ross, Teron Johnson, and Jaron Kearse all came away with 1. There were several quarterbacks to throw for over 5,000 yards this season, but Dak Prescott led the way with 5,300. Touchdowns goes to Greg Giles in Tampa Bay with 47, and interceptions goes to Raekwon Ryans, the quarterback in Green Bay. Running the ball, Jonathan Taylor led the league in yards with over 1,600. Touchdowns is going to go to Najee Harris with 24. Joe Mixon got 22. And then receiving, Cooper Kupp had the most receptions with 135 and the most yards with 1,900. But leading the league in touchdowns is Chris Godwin with 19. Fred Warner led the league in tackles with 154. What about sacks? That's going to go to Myles Garrett with 25. Kevin Donald came in second. Interceptions, that was Patrick Surtain and Tariq Woolen, who both got 7. Here's the Pro Bowl roster. If I manage to scroll past any of our guys, I do apologize, but so far I don't see any of them here actually. I don't believe any of our linemen are going to make it here as well. And let's just go right to defense, where we know Kevin Donald's going to make it. Anyone else on our defense want to make this list at all? And not seeing anyone else here, Isaiah Rodgers did make it. He apparently made it last season, and I scrolled right past him, didn't even mention it. Felix McGee made it as the second free safety. That's pretty good. Amir Brinkley made it as the second strong safety. Riley Patterson, our kicker, made it, and Rigoberto Sanchez, our punter, made it. And this year's Super Bowl goes to the New York Giants, led by Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley, who ended up winning Super Bowl MVP. The NFL MVP is Patrick Mahomes. Coach of the Year goes to Zach Taylor. Offensive Player of the Year goes to Chris Godwin. Defensive Player of the Year goes to Kevin Donald. Offensive Rookie of the Year goes to a quarterback in Miami. And Defensive Rookie of the Year goes to a defensive tackle for the Colts. We are going to try to bring back defensive back Teron Johnson here on a 1-year deal. He is 31 years old, but I don't know if there's going to be a lot better in free agency. So we'll offer him this 1-year contract, and he will actually decide to test free agency. What about defensive back Rocky Sin? He doesn't have near as much interest, but he's still an 80 overall, a 1-year contract, and he will be returning. The next one up is wide receiver Deshaun Slaughter. He has been with us the entire series. His rookie contract is finally up. We'll offer him this 3-year deal, and he will be returning. And the final player we're going to try to re-sign is running back Antonio Gibson to a 3-year contract, and he will be coming back. I will be letting everyone else walk, though. The main player leaving, I would say, is right guard Drew Madden. He was one of our draft picks in this series, but he has very little interest in coming back, and he typically got thrown to the ground a lot whenever we watch games. These are the first 5 contracts I am throwing out in free agency. Outside linebacker Gio Rhodes, defensive tackle Doug Fryer, wide receiver Bryce Woodard, left tackle Trent Brown, and right guard Royce Newman. Let's see if any of them want to sign here. Everyone has signed except Trent Brown. We land Fryer and Newman, but we don't land the receiver or the outside linebacker. I'm not seeing anyone else in free agency that can really help this team right now, so we're just going to keep this offer for Trent Brown going. And now several teams have joined this race, and we do have a lot of interest from him. So let's see if he wants to sign here on the final stage, and he is gone because we have landed Trent Brown. We are now at the NFL draft, and being completely honest, I don't see this draft helping us that much this season. We don't pick until number 29. We are going all in on 1 year, so we're going to see if we can trade this pick for maybe a new player. Is it the most realistic trade I could have made? Probably not. I don't know how well Philadelphia would have actually given up Josh Sweat, but we have traded our first and one of our second round picks this year and a second round pick in the next draft for defensive end Josh Sweat. Like I said, I don't expect this draft class to help us this much this season, but we are still going to do the draft picks here. We had 2 second round picks, so we're going to use our other one on outside linebacker J.R. Sutton out of Boise State, and he will be a normal dev trade. Our next pick comes in the 4th round, where we will take defensive back Terrence Tate out of Florida, and he will come in with, I believe, 92 speed, but a normal dev trade. Now in the 5th round, we're going to take outside linebacker Alexander Bonds out of Arkansas State. He will already have a zone coverage, but a normal dev trade. Now here at the end of the 6th round, we're going to take right tackle Josh Harold out of Oklahoma just to add some more depth to our offensive line, and he will also be a normal dev trade. And our final pick in this series will be used on center Jason Cook out of Alabama, and he will come in with a normal dev trade as well. I almost said hidden dev trade. On top of not really being sure if this draft class was going to help out this year, I did not draft that well. We got a 64 overall outside linebacker, a 68 overall corner, which was our best pick, a 63 overall outside linebacker, a 64 overall right tackle, and a 62 overall center. The best players in the draft are wide receiver Broderick Clinton that went number 3 to New England, and then a running back named Jeff Lamb out of Oklahoma that went 25 to Baltimore. I honestly really looked at him whenever I was scouting everybody because I thought he was going to be a really good player, and he obviously is. We're going to make one more trade, and yes, this is an interdivision trade, so we're throwing realism completely out the window. We have sent the Titans 2 first-round picks and a second-round pick in exchange for wide receiver T. Higgins. Honestly, if Keyshawn Gaither can't make this offense work this season, I don't know what to do with him. And now over on defense, we have 5 superstar X-Factors. Daryl Nix became one after the season, and shockingly, Felix McGee became one. I did not expect him to go up. He's an 83 overall superstar X-Factor. A little weird to see. But now we will sim to the playoffs and figure out how the final season of this rebuild is going to go. Obviously, we're not going to be watching any of the regular season games, and hopefully we can make it to the playoffs. And we managed to win the division this season at 12-5. And Keyshawn Gaither just had the best year of his career. 4,900 yards, 37 touchdowns, and 9 interceptions. Antonio Gibson runs for 1,200 yards and 14 scores, and receiving Matthew Lamb 94 catches, 1,200 yards and 9 touchdowns. Cooper Parker absolutely exploded, 1,100 yards, 16 touchdowns. T. Higgins over 1,000 yards and 8 scores. George Carson caught a couple touchdowns, and Antonio Gibson caught 1. Daryl Nix led the team in tackles with 109. Trent Woodard was second. What about sacks? That goes to Kevin Donald with 17.5. And interceptions goes to Isaiah Rodgers with 3. Quarterback Greg Giles led the league in passing yards with 5,300. Touchdowns goes to Patrick Mahomes with 48. And interceptions goes to Dak Prescott with 22. Running the ball, Josh Jacobs got the most yards with over 1,700 and the most touchdowns with 24. Receiving, it looks like that's going to go to Cooper Kupp in receptions again with 1,800 yards and 133 catches, but the most yards will go to Stephon Diggs, and touchdowns will go to Chris Godwin with 20. Now over on defense, who led the league in tackles? That would be Matt Milano for Buffalo. In sacks, Myles Garrett got 24. In interceptions, Aaron Drake came away with 6. A linebacker for the Giants. And here is how the playoffs have played out. We won 49-21 in the wildcard round against the Raiders. Then we knocked out the Patriots 31-28. And then we won the AFC Championship 40-21. So now we get to take on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for a Super Bowl. And we jump in with 4.5 minutes to go. We are up by 7 at the 13-yard line. Keyshawn Gaither lines up under center. It'll be a handoff to Antonio Gibson to the outside inside the 10-yard line and finally brought down to the 6. Now under 4 minutes to play. Gaither lines back up under center. He'll take the snap and a toss play out to Gibson on the outside. And Antonio Gibson will get the first down to the 3-yard line. So the drive will continue. Under 3.5 minutes to go. Gaither lines up under center. He drops back to pass. Dropping farther back. Now going to the end zone and throws a pick in the back of the end zone. Are you kidding me, Keyshawn Gaither? A chance to secure the game, and he makes a dumb throw. 1st and 10 from the 20. Greg Giles back in shotgun. He'll take the snap and look to pass. He's going to lob down the right sideline. That will be incomplete. It is up to the defense here. 2nd and 10 from the 20-yard line. He'll take the snap and looks to pass. He's under pressure and he's going to get sacked on the play. He may have been able to fight forward. No, he was not. That brings up a 3rd and 11. Now Giles back in shotgun from the 19. Will take the snap and a quick throw down the middle of the field will be incomplete. And Tampa Bay's actually going to punt this one away and count on their defense to get them the ball back. So the punt is sent deep and we will field this at about the 40-yard line. It's up to Gaither and the offense to just run down the clock now. 2:35 to play. Both teams have all 3 timeouts. Gaither will be sacked on the very first play. That would take us into the 2-minute warning. So now it's 2nd and 16 as they come out in an I formation. Gaither takes a snap, hands off to Gibson, who is going nowhere. That would obviously cause Tampa Bay to burn their first timeout. Now 3rd and 16 from the 34-yard line. And Gaither will run another play to Antonio Gibson. That's going to go nowhere, but they burn their second timeout. So the Buccaneers offense will get one more chance now. The punt will be sent deep from Rigoberto Sanchez. And Tampa Bay will field this, and never mind, it's going to bounce at about the 5-yard line and roll all the way to about the 4. That was a damn near perfect punt in a very big situation. 1st and 10. Giles lines up under center. They run a run play right up the middle, and that's going nowhere. 2nd and 10. They have not burned that final timeout just yet. Giles will take the snap. He goes downfield. That's caught for the first down. He'll be brought down about the 17. Running the no-huddle offense here. 1:12 to go. Giles out of shotgun. Will go downfield. That's caught for a gain of about 7 yards. All right, it was a gain of 8 yards. Whatever. 2nd and 2. Giles will drop back to pass again. Another quick throw. That's caught, and it'll be brought down to the 30. The clock is still running. They have 1 timeout remaining. 38 seconds. Giles will take the snap. He goes downfield for another short gain. That leads to a 2nd and 6. Under 30 seconds to play. Giles will take the snap. Another quick throw. There is a flag, though, as Mike Evans is driven out of bounds. Let's see what the penalty is going to be, though. Holding on the offense. So, yes, that does stop the clock, but it moves them back to the 25-yard line for 2nd and 16. Giles back in shotgun. Will take the snap and looks to pass. He steps up and throws on the run, and that should have been intercepted. Now a 3rd and 16 with 17 seconds to go here in the game. Giles back in shotgun. Will take the snap and looks to pass. He's standing back in the pocket. Has a bit of time. Apparently he's going to have all the time in the world for everyone to get deep downfield. He'll finally let this one go, and it'll be caught at about the 40-yard line. This is it, the final play of the game. With 5 seconds to go, they need to get 40 yards to the end zone. Giles will drop back, and now they will throw the Hail Mary, and that will not even get to the end zone, and Oklahoma City has won the Super Bowl. The series comes to an end on a high note here. We finally win a Super Bowl. We took baby steps every single season. Last year we got to the AFC Championship. This year I decided to just make a few trades instead of drafting players, and obviously it worked out. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this series, but that is going to wrap it up for Madden 23 on my channel. I don't know what the plan is right now for Madden 24. Maybe something like this, maybe something different. We will figure it out once that game is actually out. But we do manage to cap off this series with a great victory.